Welcome back to Commercial Breaks with Miss Education. I'm Miss Education. All right, episode 69. I don't need your resources. I don't need your resources. Yeah. So, what led me to this? It was the story in the Bible where Jesus is trying to get away to take, to rest, and the people follow him, and he ends up having to, he ends up preaching to a multitude of people. And by the, come lunchtime, everyone's hungry. They've been sitting there for hours listening. And the disciples are like, yo, Jesus, folks are hungry. What you finna do? And, when people get hungry, they get hangry. And God's like, well, we need to find food. And they're like, the amount of food it would take to feed these people is more than, I think it's like, when you do the math, it's more than like 8 months worth of our salaries. And still, that wouldn't be enough to feed the people. So what are you talking about? He's like, well, does anyone have any food? And there's this little boy who had 5 loaves of bread and 3 fish. And if I'm wrong, my sister is going to come for me, because she's like, Jen, why don't you read the story before you talk about it? This is my diary, okay? But anyway, so God takes the 5 loaves and the 3 fish. He prays over them, and he, I don't know, it's just, he multiplies them, or he divides them. It depends on how you look at it. Where to the point where when lunch was over, there was so much food left over. God was like, collect it and let it not go to waste, right? There was so much food left over, collect it and don't let it go to waste. And this just made like, and I heard, a pastor talking about this, that God does not need our resources. He needs our obedience. Yo, I was like, word. God doesn't need my talents. God doesn't need my money. He doesn't need anything that I have. He just wants me to obey. He's like, Jen, do you trust me? And will you follow? If I say yes, God will do the impossible to get his work done. He's not asking me to be the best at anything. He's just asking me to obey him. And as a result of obedience, he will provide and perform miracles. I can't feed a multitude of people, but I do have 5 loaves and 3 fish. And this is what I present to God, my 5 loaves and my 3 fish. What are my 5 loaves and my 3 fish? Well, let's see. I'm a decent teacher, right? I can connect with young people. I have a willing spirit, right? That's what I have to offer. And God's like, I can take that, Jen. I don't need it. But I need your obedience, because through your obedience, I will take the little that you have and multiply it. I will take the little that you have and I will multiply it. Jen, you're a mediocre teacher. Yeah, okay, 1 + 1, 2. Good job. But I will, if you obey, I will use you, right? If you obey, even while you are teaching in public schools, if you represent me, if you obey and do as I ask, I will bless you. And I'm not blessing you because you're deserving. I'm not blessing you just to bless you. I'm blessing you to bless others, right? Now, so when I heard this, that God doesn't need my resources, he needs my obedience, I was thinking about how has God used my resources? And yes, he granted me to be teacher of the year. Till this day, I'm like, for what, God? Don't ask me about pedagogy. I don't know nothing about that. I don't have a background in math. But yet you elevated me to a place where I was seen as one of the top teachers in the state of Massachusetts, not just any state, but Massachusetts, which is known for its education. I have no background in education, but God was like, you obeyed and I will use. And even in this, I still obey. I want to obey. God does not need your resources. He needs your obedience. So if you're like, I need to get this job, or I need to do this, I need to be the best at that, God doesn't need that. Because here's a problem, right? When we think that it's our money or our talents that get us somewhere, we then can give praise to us, right? We praise ourselves, because we can technically say it was my money that helped pay for this. It was my resources that helped this person. It was my resources that got me out of this situation. But when God says, I don't need your resources, I need your obedience, is because all glory is to him. He is going to use your nothing and create something. He's going to take your 5 loaves and 3 fish and feed multitudes of people. What would be more than 8 months of your salary, he will do with 5 loaves and 3 fish. What a mighty God we serve. With that being said, I want to say thank you for going on this journey with me for the last 69 episodes. I've had people send chats, or people call me and say, hey Jen, you should probably make reels and put them on social media, or you should post this on social media like TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. And my answer is no. For a few reasons. One is selfish. One is I don't want to. I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be out there. I just don't. Okay? I want to live my quiet life. I don't want to be out there. That's one. But 2, and this is more important than my 1. These are God's commercial breaks. This isn't me. So God will allow the individual or the individuals who need to see this, right? This is not me. And I don't want it to be me. I don't want to suddenly have, 100, 200, 5, 1,000, million, whatever views. And I say million like that's impossible, but nothing is impossible with God. First of all, I don't want to have 1 million views because of me. If it's 1 million views, it's 1 million views because God needs 1 million people to hear this. That's it. And with that being said, I want to say thank you, like I said, for the last 69 episodes. I am going to take a time out. Like this is season 1. And I will come back with season 2. I'm calling it season 2. And I want to start off talking about the Sabbath and what the Sabbath really is and what the Sabbath is not. And I have a friend, like I said, who's going to help me work on that. So I want to say thank you again for hanging in there, for, going on this journey with me, for allowing me to praise God publicly, for allowing me to speak truth, even though sometimes it's hard and not popular. And if I'm wrong, then God forgive me. And God, I ask that God change my heart and my mind so that I can see and do and say what's right. With that being said, remember that God does not need your resources. He needs your obedience. And when you obey, He will do exceedingly and abundantly more than you can imagine. Because that is the God I serve. I want to say we serve, but I'm learning that not everybody serves the same God. So that is the God that I serve. And I want you to know Him for yourself. I want you to have a personal relationship with Him. I want you to fall in love like I've fallen in love. All right. It was a pleasure, and I am grateful for those of you who've hung in there with me, for those of you who've shared. I guess it's a ministry. Okay, I can't believe I just said that. I guess this is a ministry. Ugh. Anyway, thank you for going on this ministry journey with me. Till next season, keep me in your prayers because we are moving. We are getting out of here. God has blessed us with a house, and I'm just walking towards the job that He will bless me with, that He has already given me. I just need to walk and accept it. So till next time, see you in the fall. Bye. Commercial breaks with Miss Education. Remember, God is dope.
New life, your love is my new life. You teach me to see